Welcome everybody back to another Boldcast reaction. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Carson.
And today we are watching Horimiya episode 11. What happened last time?
Last time we got in a bit of a heated argument about whether the matchup, the pairing was good, and we're gonna see what happens going forward. There's also more kinky stuff going on between Hori and Miyamura, and I'm excited to see where that goes, I guess. We talked about it, and like we were talking about it off screen, and it was like, okay, is it a little bit too much that they keep going back to it? And I think yes, but we landed on the idea that like I'd way rather them do this, because this is how it's way more natural that they're becoming sexual with each other. It's way more legit and feels more real. Like their relationship is actually progressing. It would be dumb though, because in order to be able to show that to the audience, they need to like have a way of showing that. So they could either go all ecchi with it, or they could show this, or they could turn it into a joke, basically. And I like that a lot more, and I really prefer the way that they're doing it, rather than them just being not. Oh,
we're gonna go sneak off into this classroom and
do
fool
nothing.
around.
Yeah,
but then instead it's like, oh, we're gonna sneak off into this classroom. He's gonna awkwardly yell at her, and then people are gonna walk in, and it's gonna be a funny moment.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
way better than the alternatives.
It's like an interesting way of like showing like they're like trying out new things in their relationship, but without making it super sexual or super weird or just kind of
it feels
creepy,
natural
like,
without being like, so we were thinking about like, is this good? And yeah, I think it's probably the best thing that they could do with that. But yeah, so gonna see what else happens in the other relationships, whether things continue and there's more progression for Yuki, or whether it's just that was the answer, in which case I wouldn't super like that as much. But,
or if we're gonna like see like some new stuff, or whatever is gonna happen and we'll find out in this episode. But you already know what happens because you've already watched this show, you've supported the official release, and now you're coming here to see our reaction and our review because you are very interested in our thoughts as anime reviewers. Please like and subscribe if you like this video, and let's go. Horimiya episode 11.
The snow. Yuki. Whoa. Really? You know Shu?
No.
This guy with the green hair.
Oh.
Whoa. Crazy house. Stop looking at me. Fuck. Snow. Why is this like...
Just cut it off, it'll be fine.
Yeah, just...
Whenever a piece of my hair is bothering me, I just fucking...
Yeah, I know. It's really bad. And then I said, oh.
Why are you here? When did you become part of the group?
Yanagin? There's only room for one cute boy in this group. What the fuck is happening?
A lot of this.
Yeah, what's the deal with that snow? Oh, Jesus.
Who's the cuter cute boy?
Yeah.
I guess that's like pretty much the same hairstyle as well. With like the one little even.
They're literally 1 centimeter difference. Yeah, I forgot she was a thing. We need an impartial observer's opinion. Bribery.
Like snacks.
Bribery with some Pocky.
Scared.
She's like really fucked up about just the presence of guys. Oh God. Lick my hand.
Just completely different.
Just doesn't say anything. The effect on it's so weird. He's just a total mystery to her. She just has no idea what to think. Does she like oh, it's like even colder. I can't tell if she like likes him or if she's just like completely enamored by him and has no idea what to think. Really vibey depression.
じいちゃん知らない？
知らない。
そう。
今日志望校先生に言ったら笑われた。
なんで志望校先生に笑われたら夕飯がいらないんだよ。
そういうことじゃなくて。
夕飯は食べなさい。夕飯は食べなさい。
分かったわよ。
元どこ受けんの？笑わないしどこ受けるか普通に知りたいし。
東。
笑えねえ。なんかもっと面白い名前の学校だと思ったのに。
笑ったんじゃないわ。私のせい。
何？笑っちゃうほど悪い。
I mean, are they? Are they really that bad? Like, if they're that bad that you're that insecure about them. They can't be that bad.
Wow.
誰だよ元のこと笑った先生って。家に連れてこい。
Yeah, they can't be that bad.
元の代わりに俺が殴ってやるから。
どうしてどうしてどうしてテスト点下がるばかりで先生も無理だって考えろって友達はみんな学校合格ラインなのにお兄ちゃんどうしよう
東のさ、制服地味だから受かれなかったらランク下がるけど片桐来ればいいんで服割と可愛いからもっと似合うよ。やれるとこまでやってみな。夕飯いっぱい食べろよ。
It's so bleak. That's what's so fucked up about it. Can you go beat the shit out of my little sister's teacher, please? To study? Oh, because she's such a good
really
student.
Smart. I wonder if she's just like overstudying. Like she's
Probably.
so stressed out and trying so hard
Yeah.
that she's just burning herself out.
Welcome to the discussion at the end of the episode where we talk about the educational system for half an hour again. They're leaving? Yeah, okay.
It's really nice of him to do.
Yeah. I think that's really good. That's like a really good thing to do.
It's also nice that he's like getting Hori to help because she's actually really good at like not only is she smart, she's really good at like helping other people
Yeah.
as well. Even if he knows that like him helping her probably wouldn't be very effective.
Yeah. We still don't know why she didn't go to the good school if she's such a good student.
Don't.
Wonder if we'll get into that here. I hope so. I want an explanation if she's that good of a student. The microwave?
Whoa.
Microwave cupcakes that look like that? Fucking chair.
No way, middle schoolers have cell phones now.
Not like that. That sounds pretty close. No. Definitely not.
どれ買ったら確実に受かります。じゃあ一番
The girl's just like,
妹に渡すの？
もらってくれっかな。
でも妹に
He's really trying.
大丈夫だって。
俺、
私、
あいつに
お兄ちゃんに
嫌われてないといいな。
whoa, are we gonna get a two-parter?
I wasn't too sure about this episode at the start of it,
Same.
but they really saved it in the second half. At the first, I was like, okay, we're just like kind of fucking around,
not doing literally
nothing.
anything.
It's just like, oh, he's a cute boy, I'm a cute boy. Oh, there's like a bunch of boys in the classroom. We're all, which one's the best one?
Yeah.
Like, just sort of like weird, kind of funny, but at that same time, I was feeling like we've gotten to know the side characters a little bit, but like not enough that I'm like laughing at every single thing that they do. Like I'm like familiar with them, but I'm not.
Classic shoe.
Yeah, that was
Like-
that was one thing I didn't really like about this episode. It seemed like they were really like
They were both introducing him and leveraging like, oh, class, you know, like,
yeah.
you know how he is. Except
It's-
no, you're introducing us to him.
It seemed like if he had maybe had like one or two like more scenes earlier where he was sort of the class clown, like he was the really funny dude, then I wouldn't have been so caught off guard, because I was like, am I supposed to think that this is hilarious and like, oh yeah, he's doing this all the time when I've never seen him do that before?
Yeah.
But then so I think it was maybe a little bit sort of rushed into that, and they were trying to get you acquainted with the character really fast. But in the second half, when they slowed it down and we got to see like more of him with his sister and the relationship there,
yeah.
it was a little bit better, and I didn't feel like it was trying as hard to like force you to like him. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I wasn't super into his character, like really, like exactly what you said. Like we didn't know enough about him for it to be funny, and kind of the same with all the other guys. It was just kind of like it didn't seem like there was a point to it, and it wasn't funny enough for that to be the point. Mm-hmm. So, but then it got into more actual stuff, and the Sawada-sama stuff was funny. But again, like for the first 15 minutes of the episode, it was like, or about that long. It's Crunchyroll scrubbing, maybe 12 minutes, 13 minutes, something like that. Up to the point where it got into his sister. Mm-hmm. But, yeah.
Because the stuff with this sister is actually interesting, of
Yeah.
like the interesting dynamic they have there, of like they both really care about each other but don't really know how to show it, and they both kind of think that they hate each other, and it's like this sort of like...
My problem with it is that it doesn't seem like I never got the vibe that, like, if I was one of them, I probably wouldn't think that the other person hated me, you know? And they are so close that, like, I don't, you know, it doesn't seem, there's not enough, like, tension there, it seemed like. It seemed like he was kind of cold a little bit, but not really. He was kind of making a point. And she was, like, clearly felt, and maybe it was, like, they don't normally act this way, but she clearly felt close enough to him to like open up and openly like cry and freak out in front of him. Mm-hmm. So, you know, the whole idea that they're like so distant and they aren't really close and they kind of aren't sure if the other one is like cool with them or whatever is kind of felt kind of out of nowhere, because again, this is like the first time we see them really interacting was that time. If there was other times where they seemed really cold and they seemed like they didn't like each other, they were like slamming doors in each other's face and shit, and like yelling at each other.
Yeah.
But there was no context for that. We were just told that that's how they are.
And we saw
them
literally
open up and be, you know, honest to each other. So
the only time that we saw is when in this episode someone went over to their house and she like wasn't a happy, excited younger sister. She was just sort of like
honestly,
standing there. But like
in real life, I would expect that as a healthy relationship, whereas in an anime, I think they're operating on this thing where it's like, oh, the little sister needs to be like the spunky, cute little, you know, fireball who's like, yeah, hey, how's it going, all that shit. And they kind of made fun of that in the episode, so I thought that they were being self-aware about it, but it seems like, no, that was meant to illustrate they have an unhealthy relationship, when to me, that seems like a perfectly healthy brother and sister relationship. That they're even talking to each other when they get home and welcome each other home. That seems like way more healthy than just,
wanting to be best friends 24/7.
That's like not even, that's non-existent. For anyone who has a sibling knows that that's not how it works at all. Like literally, like that's I feel like the only time I see that is if sisters,
or like a way younger sibling, like a literal like
yes, yeah, not
child,
3 years apart.
Like if the kid's like 5 and is just like really idolizing their older sibling, then you see that, but like. Not like, oh, my 1 year younger sibling treats me like a...
So,
like,
that to say, it's like they were telling and not showing a lot of the time, and it felt as though I didn't get, like, only after reflecting on it, I'm like, oh, so that... Like, the whole tension and the whole thing with their relationship is that they think, like, as we saw at the end of the episode, that they think that they hate each other, but judging by their interactions and what they're actually doing, we got no... sort of context for that, except for what they said, and the few times we did see them speak, it seemed really natural and good as far as like a sibling relationship, that they could open up like that and talk to each other like that is like super healthy. So but if that is going to be the conflict, I want to see if they take that further, or if it's going to be just they're good and now they're better, which would also be good. But I just wish that we could have felt the tension rather than just been told that there was tension.
Yeah,
I do like that she's studying, and I do like that she's trying really hard, and it fucking sucks. I think you're right that she is studying way too hard.
Yeah,
and it's like frying her brain.
Like if you saw her books, it was like all of her books are like like they look like they've been dunked in water and then dried, but really it's just because she's been like flipping through them and studying so hard.
And I think you're right, because Hori seems to be having the same thing. I think she's thinking the same thing. Like, how about let's just not study? Because clearly that's not working.
You get here to this like strange person's house, and immediately you're just like whipping out the textbooks. Like, yeah, let's get right into it. And it's like, no, just.
I mean, nothing. Like, you looking through the same textbooks that you've clearly read like
100 times is not
with me isn't going to help. And like, she's not going to. She needs to like counsel her basically, and like talk to her. And I wonder what the conversation's going to be, if it's going to be like a, hey, it doesn't really matter necessarily what school, and I know Japan's different. I know Japan really places a high value on like which school you go into. So it is different than here. Here it's like there's a lot of importance when you're younger and in high school about like what schools you get into. But like if you talk to many of the people who went to like really good and expensive schools, they're kind of just like, I wish I just went to community college and saved my fucking money and bought a house instead, and then like didn't accrue hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt and instead accrued maybe $20,000 of debt and got the same results. Because in the job market, people don't really care as much. I know Japan's different and they really value that a lot more. So it does kind of matter what school you go into, and they put a heavy importance on that even when you're in middle school. From the time you're like 10 years old, you need to be starting to plan the rest of your life. And we over here are like, I'm 18, and they expect me to know what the fuck I'm even doing? I'm 24, and I still don't know. I'm making YouTube videos on the internet. I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. And to us, that's like becoming more normal. Yeah. Like where I'm at, I guess, is the upper edge of normal. But people like get up to 27 and they're still just like, yeah, he's still figuring his life out and shit. So we have a lot of leeway. Over there, literally, you turn 10 years old, you're in middle school, and you're like, and everyone's like, what high school are you gonna get into? And shit, you're taking exams to get into high school, and it's just intense. So it does kind of matter, but like. It doesn't matter if, like, the other thing, and this is true here in colleges and there and anywhere. This is true anywhere. And we were in psychology class and we talked about this, or it was sociology class, I think. And it was about, like, people who study really hard and get into the better school and then are at the bottom of the rung in the worst school, or in the better school. They would be better off if they went to a school in their weight class and then were at the top of the heap in there and were like honors student and fucking all that shit. But if you're like punching above your weight class, literally, like it's literally like a UFC fighter fighting someone who weighs 20 pounds more than them. You're just putting yourself at a disadvantage because you're fighting above your weight class, and you aren't necessarily in the same league. So, and there's nothing to be ashamed about that because you could do just as well. It doesn't fucking matter. What matters is that you're going to get a good job and have a comfortable life, not stress the fuck out of yourself for 5 years in your most formative youth and then completely ruin the rest of your life. Like, that's going to ruin your life more than getting into a bad school. And
I guess, like, what like might go on here, it'll be like, hopefully, like, finding out her motivations for going to the good school.
Yeah, like, why does she actually want it?
She mentioned her friends are all going there. Is that
just
why? Is
peer
it because their parents are putting pressure? Is it because she is putting that pressure on herself, like, comparing herself to everyone else? I feel like that's the
conversation they're going to have.
Is it because she doesn't want her brother to be disappointed in her? Is, like, that going to play into it? Like, does she really truly want to go into that school, or does she feel like she has to? And maybe if she, like, relieves some of that pressure, maybe she would actually maybe that is the school she's supposed to go to. She just needs to relax about it. And actually, like, take in the information instead of studying herself to death.
Yeah.
But yeah. I guess we'll find out. Next episode, you can find out right now what our thoughts are on it if you go to our Patreon, patreon.com/boldcast, where you can get early and uncut episodes. And hope you enjoyed. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Carson.
Bye-bye.